How are the years 2025 to 2030 going to be for you? A customized analysis of your horoscope is what I'm going to be talking in this video. So, what you have to do is, before you get the contents of this video is going to be long, but then this is customized for you. There are 12 ascendants. You need to figure out what is your ascendant and only read about that ascendant, whatever I'm going to talk about for that ascendant. And if there is any family member whom you want to know about, for them also you need to find the ascendant and then understand my reading, whatever I'm saying. So how will you find your ascendant? You need to go to greenstonelobbo.com. There is a section called as free horoscopes. Go there, fill in your birth details, and on the top you will see something mentioned as ascendant. Against that you will see a zodiac sign. That zodiac sign is your ascendant. Your ascendant is different from your sun or your moon sign, so don't get confused. Okay, you can be born in November, but you're not a Scorpio. Your ascendant is something else. It could be Cancer, Virgo. So that you will have to you'll be able to know that only if you have your exact birth details. If not exact, even if you have like half an hour here and there, you can just see the ascendant. See, I'm a modern scientific astrologer. I use planets which are beyond Saturn. So beyond Saturn are Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. I include 4 more bodies. One is Chiron, and 3 of them are trans-Saturnine bodies. I call them as, for the sake of convenience, I call them as planet X, planet Y, and planet Z. I include these into my system of astrology, and only when you include all of these, there are 12 planets for 12 zodiac signs, and that gives a proper, complete analysis. But this entire analysis that I'm going to do, customized for you, it's only going to be based on 2 major planetary transits. One is Uranus and the other one is Pluto. See, we can talk about, if you need to have an exact analysis of what is happening in your life, you also need to include all the other bodies. But I'm talking about these 2 planets because these 2 planets are extremely powerful and they are making a major transit. And because of this major transit, this is going to impact your life in a very, very big way. So that is the reason. These 2 are going to be the major themes of your life. There will be so many other sub-themes of your life which will be indicated by the other bodies, which we may not be discussing here because that will make the video very, very long. Okay, but just focus on these 2 bodies and the analysis, whatever is going to come out. If you're going to be followed as, you will be able to manage your life better for the next 5-6 years. So in this series of videos, you're going to see a lot of challenges, which I'm going to talk about, because Uranus is going to be going into a challenging position. Pluto is going to go into a grey lizard patch, which is also a challenging position. Yes, the grey lizard patch initially gives you a lot of trouble. Then it can give you a positive result based on how the Pluto is placed in your chart. But still, it can be giving you challenges. So what do I mean by grey lizard? Grey lizard means, if you're looking into the horoscope, you will see that the planet Pluto will either be in green color or it's going to be in red color. And whenever it's going to be in red or in green, but when it has a square box around it, it could be in grey lizard, and the grey lizard is between 8 to 16 degrees. So that is the time when it goes into grey lizard. And if the planet Pluto is going to be in the red color, the font of the planet Pluto is going to be in red color, it means your Pluto is debilitated. So which means the challenges will be slightly more. Okay. And if the planet is in green color, and if you're doing any kind of an activity which is connected to the planet Pluto, then it could be giving you positive results also. Okay, so that is a general overview. So with this, we'll go ahead. So all the impact that I'm going to be talking about Uranus and Pluto is irrespective of what you have in the other planets. Please understand that Uranus and Pluto will do their job. But at the same time, you may also have, let's say, 4 asteroids which are very strongly placed. You may have 4 asteroids exalted. For example, people born in between 74 to 76, 77, you may have all the 4 asteroids exalted. So in that case, all those 4 asteroids will give the positive results in their own way. Okay, so whatever I'm talking about Pluto and Uranus is irrespective of those planets. So those planets will do their job and they'll give you positive results, and these Uranus and Pluto will do their job. So which means the negative impact of Pluto and Uranus can be in some way, can be counterbalanced by all those 4 asteroids that you have. So it's all about your individual horoscope. So obviously, whatever I'm going to talk to you is only a part of the, the predictions for the next 5 years. You need to have your individual chart read by a competent astrologer, who knows all these planets and will be able to explain you in a better way about individually your horoscope. Okay, but this is generally about all the people in the world, based on the ascendants, the two major planets, what they are going to do in the next 5 years in your life is what we are going to be discussing in this video. So let's get started. Starting with the first ascendant, and that is Aries ascendant. So if you're an Aries ascendant person, there are two major planetary transits happening. One is of Uranus. Uranus is your 11th lord. The 11th lord is getting debilitated. It is going to become weaker in the second house. And the planet Pluto, which is your 8th lord, is going to get into a grey lizard avatar in your 10th house. Okay. So, talking about the Aries ascendant, I said that the planet Uranus is transiting into your second house, that is 11th lord, and then the planet Pluto is transiting into your 10th house. The second house is the house of money, 11th house is the house of business returns, and 10th house is the house of career. Now, this is a very, very major transit that we're looking at. If you're an Aries person, it is completely focused on, these two transits are completely focused on your money and your career. Okay, now that's very important because when you have the planet Pluto transiting into your 10th house of career, so there can be, it is the 8th lord. Okay, now if you're having a negative Pluto, I mean negative Pluto in the sense, I mean it is debilitated, it's in red font, okay, or worst still, let's say that it has a red square, then that means that you are going to go through a lot of challenges. There could be a lot of upheavals, sort of changes, alterations. Your company can go through some sort of a metamorphosis or a change, or you yourself can go through some sort of a change, and so all of those changes are happening in your career area. And these are not very easy ones, they are tougher ones. These are tougher battles that you will have to fight against and play. So, so career is not going to be easy, and also simultaneously you're also having the 11th lord Uranus getting debilitated in the second house of money. So 11th house means returns on the money, second house means money. So let's say that you are a career person who's working in a corporate, okay. So this can mean that, you know, there could be some sort of, whatever changes happening in your corporate job, it can actually bring you down in your status in terms of a career, and probably also bring you down in status in terms of your money. So that could be a monetary impact. So which means your job can, I mean, you can probably, during this entire 5 years, it can happen that, you know, you may be stuck in a job where there is not much of an increment, there may not be too much of a promotion, you're stuck and you're not getting those raise or whatever, you know, so that is not happening. So probably that could be the thing. And if you're a business person, it can mean that you have to be very, very careful if you're a business person, because 11th lord getting debilitated, and that is also a very, very powerful Uranus getting debilitated, very powerful planet like Uranus getting debilitated can mean you can even lose money if you are a business person. So be very careful about your investments, and your investments giving you losses can be, the chances of that happening is very high. So Aries ascendant people, you also have to remember one important thing is that if you have the planet Pluto in the grey lizard avatar, in a positive grey lizard means what? The planet Pluto is in green color, okay, and there is a red square around it. So this happens when you see that you're born in, let's say, 72 to 74, or if you're born in between 97 to 99, 2000, you know, during those times if you're born, you will have the Pluto in green color, but there is a red square around it. That's a positive grey lizard. Even people who are born between 1959 to 1961 will have something like that. So if you have a positive Pluto, then what it can mean is that this, whatever changes that is coming in your career could be a very positive thing also. Okay, it can also mean you're doing something very, very positive. I mean, the entire process can be very painful. When you're going through the whole, the whole process, it can be very, very tough, very hard. It can put in a lot of stress on you, but then the end result is going to be good. So that is one positive thing that you can actually look forward to, especially people with a positive grey lizard. All right, so now I'm going to be talking about the Taurus ascendant people. So for Taurus ascendant people, the planet Uranus is your 10th lord getting debilitated in your first house, and the planet Pluto is the grey lizard 7th lord getting into a grey lizard avatar into your 9th house. So that is the interesting two transits which you're seeing. Okay. So what is going to happen because of this? Your 10th lord getting debilitated in the first house. 10th house is career, first house is personality or the body. Okay. So what will Uranus do? Uranus can do either of the two things. It can give you challenges in terms of your career, or it can give you challenges in terms of your body or personality. So either of the two things can happen. So what does it mean? So your 10th lord getting weak, Uranus is getting weak in your first house means your career, there could be some sort of a challenge in your career. Some people, I was talking to some people, they are like some Taurus ascendant people. Actually, they are feeling that, why am I working now? I don't want to do any more job. I don't want to work now. So probably, see, if you are thinking of any other business idea, something else is there in your mind, that is also good. Okay, which means, at some point of time, your career is supposed to come to an end, and maybe something else will start in your life, right? So probably it could also mean this. People who are very close to their retirement age, maybe having this kind of a placement also. But otherwise, if you are in the 30s and 40s and if you still have this kind of a position, then obviously it means that there could be some sort of challenges in your formal career. Okay, this is very important. I'm talking about formal career. Formal career means what? You have a formal job where you go, you work 9 to 5. Okay, but otherwise also, if you have a 10th lord week in the first house, there can be some issues in your reputation, your name, your popularity, or your ability to go to a work, a job and work. Maybe how will that be impacted? Maybe because you have some body issues, some health issues can happen which can impact you going to a job or a work. So that is a manifestation of having a Uranus, your 10th lord debilitated in the first house. Talking about the Pluto is going to be in the Grey Lizard avatar. It is your 7th lord going into the 9th house. 7th house means what? 7th house means relationships. And 9th house means what? 9th house means spirituality, travels, foreign countries, international, teaching, training, advising, consulting. Now this is a very interesting placement for a Taurus ascendant people. So 7th lord into a Grey Lizard. Okay, now let's say that your Pluto is weak, is debilitated, which means your Pluto is in red color or Pluto has a red square around it. That means you're going to be it can mean a lot of challenges in your 7th house means marriage and marital life. Okay, so 9th house means a law. So sometimes it can also mean 7th and 9th, both of them are also connected to law. So it can mean that if your marriage, is on the rocks, if you're going through a marriage is not so great, there has been a lot of marital life issues, challenges which has been going on, then probably this could be that kind of a time when the marriage can go into some sort of a trouble. So there can be some issues, some problems, some marital life discord. If it has been going for a long, long time, it can even mean sometimes a separation or even a divorce, because there is a legal aspect of the 7th and 9th house coming up. Okay, if you have any kind of also understand that 7th house means partnership. So if you are into any kind of a partnership is a major part of your life, then your partnership can be impacted. There could be some people who could be putting you into some sort of a trouble. 7th house means other people. So other people disturbing you, doing something to you, those kind of things are possible. At the same time, the 9th house also indicates travels. So if you're traveling somewhere, then there could be some challenges there. The travel can be impacted. The travel can be, if you're someone who's who's going for studies or education to some foreign country, your visas, all the documentations, your legal formalities, they can be delayed. So these are all the various, challenges that can come up, because of having a Grey Lizard, Pluto moving into your 7th house. Especially if you have it will always happen, but if you're having a negative Pluto, the Pluto is debilitated or the Pluto has a red circle around it, then this can happen. But if you are someone who already is a Grey Lizard, which means that, you were born between 1961 to 1959 to 61, 62, then 1972 to let's say 74, or between 97 to 99, then you have a positive Grey Lizard. So which means if you are doing any kind of a work which is connected to Grey Lizard, then probably this could be a very empowering time for you. Okay, which means you'll go through a lot of challenges, but then you can overcome those challenges and do something really fantastic. Okay, what does it mean? So which means you can have some sort of a partnership which can be a little bit of a problem. Okay, let's say that you have a partner, but then the 9th house can mean away. So which means the partner is away from you. So which means, you'll have to make a lot of efforts to go and meet that person. There could be a long distance relationship, which can be a trouble because, you are away from a person, but then you'll have to go make the effort and go and meet the person. Okay, or you have to go to travel to a foreign country. Yeah, it will initially be a lot of challenges, but then later on you'll probably get your visa. Okay. Or you can be a teacher. You can be, Grey Lizards are those people, who do all those alternate sciences. Okay, people who are into healing, alternate healing, spirituality, or even people who are into banking, insurance. These are all typical Grey Lizard careers. So if you are into any of those careers, then you can do fantastically well, because 9th house can mean teaching. 9th house can mean knowledge. So you can be the knowledge guru, you can be the master, guru, guide, advisor, consultant. That role you can play very well. So that is for the Taurus ascendant people. So how is the Uranus and Neptune transit going to be for the Gemini ascendants? For Geminians, the Uranus is going to be the ninth lord, which is going to be debilitated in the 12th. And Pluto is the sixth lord, which is going to be in exaltation in the 8th house, but it is going to be in the Grey Lizard avatar. So let's look at what is going to happen. So for Gemini ascendants, Uranus is the ninth lord. Ninth house means what? Ninth house indicates anything to do with studies, education. And ninth house is also connected to foreign countries. And it is going to be in the 12th house. 12th house also means international. So there is a 9th-12th connection, okay, which is very interesting. So anything and everything which is connected with travels, anything to do with foreign countries, anything which is international, anything which has got to do with legalities, documentations, formalities, visas, all of those things can be a challenge. So you need to be careful about all of those things. And what else? Ninth house is also connected with the law. Ninth house is connected with spirituality. 12th house can mean something to do with even again spirituality. So some people may have some sort of a very interesting experience. I mean, it may not necessarily be negative, but then certain incidents that will happen in their lives which can sort of transform their lives in a spiritual way, which is very interesting. So, and understand that whenever I'm saying the transit is going to last for about 5 years, so it is from 2025 to 2030. So within this period, it can happen anytime. And 12th house, the Uranus is going to be there in the 12th house, and 12th house means foreign countries, challenges in foreign countries. 12th house can also mean the legs and the eyes. So some people can have some issues connected with either the legs or the eyes, which can also be a trouble. Now talking about Pluto, Pluto is going to be in the Grey Lizard avatar. It's the sixth lord, which is going to be in the 8th house. 6th house is connected to health. 8th house is also connected to health. 6th house is the body. 8th house means more chronic. 6th house can be a temporary ailment, but 8th house can be a chronic ailment. So one of the major challenge that people with the Gemini ascendants will face could be connected with the health. So something to do with because even the 6th house means stomach and the lower abdomen, and 8th house indicates the immune system. For women, it can be gynecology. So you need to be careful about your stomach, the lower abdomen, any organs connected with the lower part of the body, especially between the stomach and the lower abdomen. For men, it can be prostrate. For women, it can be gynecology. So these are all things which you need to take care of. And stomach, of course, in general. Now, also talking about the immune system. So some people can also have some irritants connected with the immunity or immune system connected issues. So if there is going to be any kind of you can be one of those people who can fall ill very quickly during this time. So you need to take care of your health. And 8th house can also indicate, there can be other things like accidents, or 8th house can also mean other people's money, like finance. So be careful about your money. But then it is a 6th-8th connection. So largely this can indicate sometimes stress, worries, and also health-connected irritations. Okay, one important thing is that if you're going to be a Grey Lizard person, if you are a person who is already having a positive Grey Lizard, I would say that Geminians can have some sort of positive experiences in terms of your health or in your fitness or in your body. So probably you can actually do certain healing, or you can undergo some sort of a transformation in your physiology or in your body by undergoing some sort of a treatment or doing some therapies or some sort of a thing which can actually bring in some sort of a transformation. So a positive possibilities are also there, especially if you are a Grey Lizard, positive Grey Lizard. So that is it for the Gemini ascendant people. Talking about the Cancer ascendants, the planet Uranus is going to be the 8th lord, which is going to be debilitated in the 11th house between 2025 till the end of the decade. So how is it going to impact them? So Uranus is your 8th lord. 8th house means other people's money, anything to do with banking, insurance. Other people's money also means loan. You're taking money from somebody. How you can make it positive thing is like, you buy a home on mortgage, you buy a property. 8th house also means real estate. So you buy a property on mortgage. So if you have to take a loan for some purpose and, which you can give back, which that, over a period of time you can return back, then it is fine. Okay. But then otherwise you have to be very careful, because during this time there is always a possibility that you can take some loan from somebody and you're not able to return that money. 8th house means loan. Okay, 11th house means returns on the money. 8th house can also mean you're putting your money into somebody else's thing, like you're investing your money into something. And 11th house means return. So the money is not coming in because you did something there, the business didn't go well, there is something wrong went with the business, and the money is not coming in. So the effort versus return is not so good, so that is the issue. 8th house is other people's money, especially, you give your money, you invest your money, you or you take money from somebody else. Either which of the ways, the impact of the whole thing, the what will happen by the end result of the whole thing may not be positive. So that is the problem that we have. So be careful in terms of your investments. And the second possibility is 8th house means, as I said, it's about health. And so when you have a 8th lord debilitated, there is always a possibility that a person can have health issues. So Cancer ascendant people can have health issues, health challenges. It can be even immune system connected health issues can be there, and blood it can be involved in. 11th house is the house of longevity. So especially people who are a little older, can have such challenges. And if you're young, then probably there can be some health issue or an accident or something which can make you hospitalized or be bedridden for some time. It can impact your, it can shake you a bit in terms of your body and your health. So yeah, you have to be careful. Then we're looking at Cancer ascendant people will have the 7th lord, the 5th lord Pluto is going to be transiting the 7th house in the grey lizard avatar. So if you have a strong Pluto, positive Pluto, the impact may not be that bad, but then if you're going to have a negative Pluto, the impact is going to be really bad. So if you have a debilitated Pluto in the chart, debilitated means the Pluto is in red color. Okay, then see, 5th house means what? 5th house means love, romance, relationship. 7th house means marriage. So we're looking at a common people, for us, for most of us, it can mean, it can be a love romance issue. Okay, especially if you're younger. The formative years of your life, if you're not married, then it can mean all of those things. You're still, the love is not happening, the romance part is not so good. Even if you're married, the marital life is not so great because there is no love in the relationship, or the relationship is not so great, or the relationship or the people with whom you are with, with them you have a problem. So these are all those various challenges that can be there when you have a weak 5th lord transiting the 7th house. Now, the other possibility is that the 5th house is also the house of name, fame, popularity, and 7th house can mean something like the public acclaim or your respect amongst people. Okay, so if you have a 5-7 kind of a transit, and if it is a negative transit, if your Pluto is weakly placed in the chart, then probably there is always a possibility that you can have some form of a defame, or you're not getting that fame that you want, or the success that you want, the glory that you want, and on the public domain, you can be ridiculed, or there can be your name can be spoiled for some reason. Those possibilities are always there. But if you have a very strong positive Pluto, if your Pluto is very exalted, or if your Pluto is in grey lizard, positive grey lizard, see, then it can happen that you may do something. 5-7 connection can give you some sort of an extraordinary success also, but the success may come with a lot of expenses, which means you have to fight hard. There will be a lot of obstacles, struggles, issues that you'll face, and after facing a lot of those troubles, then finally you will be able to do something which is very positive. So the success may come to you, but then it can come at an expense. If you are a person who is connected with the government, 5th house indicates the government, 7th house indicates the government. So if you have any kind of a connection to the government, then it can be very good if you have a positive Pluto. But if you have a weak Pluto, it can mean that there can be some challenges in terms of your career, in terms of the government. Okay, government or some sort of policies connected thing can be trouble. If you're into marketing, branding, law, legal matters also, if the Pluto is weak, then you have to be a little careful. There can be some challenges. Otherwise, yes, if you have a positive Pluto, if you are into marketing, branding, advertising, movies, showbiz, TV, media, entertainment, you can actually do something really phenomenal. See, especially for media people, if you're a Cancer ascendant and if you're a media person, if you're going to be doing any kind of a movie or a showbiz or something, creative idea which is connected with, which is very, let's say, all the darker sides of Pluto. So like reincarnation, a movie like a Sholay, where there is a lot of fights and problems, and against all the odds you resurrect yourself, or something which is based on some some themes which is very, very, it can be scary. Okay, it can be a movie which is based on spirits or ghosts, or it can be it's something which is paranormal. Okay, so those kind of subjects, if you're going to be working on, then I would say that you're going to do really well, because Pluto or grey lizard is connected to all of these industries, all of these keywords. Okay, and if you're going to be doing something connected with that, then probably your success ratio can be going up. So Cancer ascendant people, if you're listening to this video, I would say get ideas and make movies in those lines. So that's it for the Cancer ascendant people. So talking about the Leo ascendants, the Uranus is going to be your 7th lord. So Uranus is anyways going to give only challenging results. 7th lord is going to be weak in the 10th house of career. 7th house means relationships, 10th house is career. So what can happen is when you have a 7th 10th connection and there is the planet is weak, then the possibilities are that you may do certain things at workplace which can go against you. And especially it can involve some sort of a relationship with people. So you can have a relationship, let's say you have some sour relationship with your boss or a subordinate. So somebody can do some sort of a thing to you, against you, go against you, try to pull you down, and there can be some issues at workplace. So people issues at workplace, so that is a major connection, it can happen. But there are also other possibilities. So 7th house means relationships and 10th house is career. So sometimes what happens is you are placed in one place. Okay, let's say that there are so many things happening in your personal life. You're going through a bad marriage, your spouse is bad, your spouse is creating a lot of ruckus, trouble in your life, and that is impacting your career, okay? Or vice versa. So there is a lot of things that is happening in your workplace. You're pulled on in different directions, you're being dragged to work at workplace, you're spending so many hours, you're working 16 hours a day, so you're not able to give time to your spouse who's at home. Or people in your life, 7th house means relationships, which also means your children, your parents, so you're not able to spend time with them. So either of the two things can happen. Sometimes the spouse is away from you. So those are all things which are possibilities, because something about the career is impacting the relationship, or something about the relationship is impacting the career. So that is the most important thing. Unless you are a celebrity or something, so if you're a famous person, then it can mean like 7th house can mean, public life, and you're doing something which is impacting your career and stuff like that. Those things are possible. So talking about the Pluto is going to be the 4th lord in Grey Lizard avatar in the 6th house. So 4th lord in the 6th, and 4th house means what? Again, family. Okay, so now there is like we're looking at two things. 7th house also means relationships, 4th house is family. So you have both the planets are going through some sort of a weaker transit. So which means there is a lot that is going to be riding on your relationships. Which you need to concentrate on, take care of in the next 4 years. Very important, right? So what does it mean? 4th house means family, home, parents, mother, father. Okay, 6th house means domestic issues. 6th house can also mean health. Okay, so how does it unfold? So probably your parents can go through some sort of a tough time. So maybe one of the parent can go through a health issue, so you have to be there for the person. See, otherwise it can also mean some sibling or somebody at home is going through some sort of a trouble, and you have to be there. There can be some sort of a domestic issue. Sometimes what happens is you want to rebuild your home, so you're breaking your homes, your walls and everything, ceiling and everything, and you're painting. So all of those things, you're building a home you're building a real estate or a property in the middle of some place, and you have to get all those stuff there. It can be a very difficult thing. So it can be a good thing, but then probably it involves a lot of processes which can be very painful. Which will take you to, it'll stretch you a bit, all of those things. So those kind of things can happen. So it may not be very easy, but you will have to go through that, painful situation. And of course, what can also happen is 4th house means family and 6th house is health. See, sometimes you can go through some sort of a health issue, but otherwise it can also mean that, the health house can be connected to the health issues can be connected with the stomach or the lower abdomen, because 6th house means largely the stomach and the lower abdomen part. But sometimes it can also mean generally the health can be bad. So it can mean either your health itself is a cause of concern, otherwise somebody in your family is going through some sort of a health issue and you have to be there for the person. So there are various manifestations possible. I am explaining all of those things to you. So that is it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendants, Uranus is going to be the 6th lord transiting the 9th house. Uranus will be debilitated in the zodiac sign Taurus. So what does it do? 6th house means health, 9th house means luck, 9th house means travels, 6th house means hard work. Okay, so that's going to be the combination. So what it simply means is that see, there is always a possibility that your luck may not go the way you would want to go. There can be a lot of hardships that you'll have to do for getting the work done. So some people can go through health issues. So there can be 6th house can mean stomach, lower abdomen, or it can be generally it can mean health. So in terms of health, you are not lucky. And some people, the 9th house means travels, 9th house means education. So Sixth house means a lot of hard work, so which means you'll have to put in a lot of hard work to get results in terms of your education. So I mean, when if you're a young student and if the Uranus is transiting your 9,000, that means you're not able to learn well. Then it only means that you'll have to put in the hard yards to ensure that you pass or you get those particular ranks that you want. If you want to travel, then things may not happen very easily. You will have to run here and there, helter skelter, to get things done. So simply it means that 6th house means hard work, and 9th house is luck. So luck factor is not going to favor you, and there's going to be a lot of hard work that you'll have to do. Now talking about Pluto, Pluto is your third lord transiting your 5th house in the grey lizard avatar. Okay, so it again depends on what kind of a Pluto you have. If you have a debilitated Pluto, debilitated means what? It's going to be in red color, red font. Okay, so then the Pluto is debilitated. In that case, third house means a mind. A person can go through a lot of mental unhappiness, frustrations, worries, which can come because of the 5th house. 5th house means what? 5th house means children. 5th house means recognition, name, fame, popularity. 5th house indicates some sort of a success. So probably you're not getting that kind of a success which you deserve, and you're frustrated, unhappy, worried. That could be the major thing. But some people can be worried about their children. So something about a child or children can bother you, and you're worried about that. And also the third house means the hands, or it can also mean some sort of something to do with the movement. It can also mean the central nervous system. So there can be, some people can go through some sort of irritants connected with the central nervous system also. 5th house can mean name, fame, popularity, so which also means that there is always a possibility that someone can try to malign you in some way, and you can be mentally worried about that. 5th house also means love and romance. So love and romance can be a major area which can concern you a lot, and you will be worried about that and bothered about that. So that could be the possibilities of having a Pluto in grey lizard. And if you have a positive grey lizard, which means the Pluto is in green, but then there is a red square around that. So in that case, what happens is you can be doing something cerebral. You can think something which is very interesting, which can manifest into something very positive. I mean, especially if, let's say, that you are connected with the media industry or showbiz, TV, media, entertainment or something like that, then you can do something really fabulous. If you are a person who is into teaching, talking, training, advising, consulting, then also you can do something fabulous, and there could be a lot of recognition that can come your way. If you are a media person creating some sort of a movie or something, then probably you can create something which is fabulous, interesting, out of the world, and it is something which is very invigorating, and it is based on topics which are very offbeat. So in that case also the possibilities of you succeeding is very high. There will be a lot of stress, strain before you achieve the success. So that is what the grey lizard does to you. Okay, so that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. Now talking about the Libra ascendants. So having the Uranus, which is the 5th lord, in debilitation in the 8th house. Okay, what are the possibilities? 5th house means love, romance, relationships. 8th house can mean challenges, troubles, problems, issues. 5th house is also connected to showbiz, TV, media, entertainment. 8th house is connected to something to do with something called as the other people's money. Okay, so 5th house is connected to children, and 8th house is connected to gynecology. So there are various possibilities. 5th house is also investment, and 8th house is other people's money. I mean, there are like so many possibilities that we can talk about when you have a 5th, 8th kind of a transit, which can give you trouble in either of these areas. Okay, so what you need to watch out for is, see, depending upon what you're doing in life. Let's say that you are into investment. So 5th house means investment, 8th house is other people's money. So be a little careful. 8th house means real estate. So are you putting that kind of an investment which can give you backfire, or if you're a person, I mean, like if you have a child, if the child is a troublemaker, the child is giving you some sort of a worry already, then you know that, the child can give you some sort of a challenge. Okay, and if you're a person or you're a lady who has gynecological issues, then probably you may have to go through some sort of a physical treatment. So probably an IVF or some sort of a, modality can be an intervention, medical intervention may be required for you to have a child. It may not be very easy. And if you're going to plan a child during this time, then, so normally it can also mean many women can go through pregnancy during this time. So when a woman becomes pregnant, what happens is, your 2-3 years are gone, right? The period, entire 9 months you are pregnant, that's a tough period. Then you give birth to a child, then another year, 2 years goes away, your corporate career takes a back seat. So it can also indicate those 3 years. So if a woman who has a Libra ascendant, probably I would say that this is probably one of the better times to get pregnant. Okay, presuming that you're going to have challenges in the pregnancy, or the post-pregnant, you'll have those postpartum syndrome, and then it may not be very easy for you to get back into work, and all of those things. We're considering all of those factors. Otherwise, love, romance, be careful. 8th house is other people's money, so if you're going to give money to somebody else, be careful. Be very careful about any kind of operation, sting operation, because 5th house is love, romance, 8th house is sexuality. So if you're into any of those kind of things, you can get into some sort of a trouble. Be careful with that. Your name getting spoiled because of some sex scandal. Okay, yeah. So these are all things which you need to be careful about. Yep. Okay. And talking about the Pluto. Pluto is your second lord going into the 4th house. Second house is money, 4th house is real estate, second house is wealth, money, investment, 4th house can be real estate, land, property, home, all of those things. So how does it work? So if you have a negative Pluto, then you'll have, so negative Pluto means what? Your Pluto is in red color, the red font, okay? So which means you'll have a lot of trouble with the family, though there could be some parent or some sibling or somebody may go through a lot of issues, and you'll have to be there for the person. There could be a lot of money that can drain, there could be a finance drain that can happen at family. You're spending a lot of money on the family, I mean, we don't really worry about spending money on the family, but then probably it could be for some reason which is inexplainable. Sometimes waste of money for something. But if you're going to spend your money on positive reasons on your family, then I would say that this is a very, very good time to do that. Be very careful if you're going to be doing any kind of an investment into real estate or land or property. Your money can get stuck into some sort of a con scheme or something like that. So be very, very careful if you're going to invest your money somewhere. Okay, if you have a negative Pluto. If you have a grey lizard Pluto, then probably what can happen is you may have something to do with your money. Money activity which you're doing. You're putting your money into a real estate, or you want to build a property in the middle of a jungle. You selected a place, but then you have to build the whole thing in the wilderness, and you're trying to do that. You have to get in the vehicles, you have to get this, that, you have to pay. I mean, there can be a lot of trouble, right? You want to build something like that in your hometown, in the middle of a village, or even in this in a city, in a concrete jungle. You want to make some property. There could be a lot of trouble. You could be spending a lot of money. So it could all mean that. But then by the end of the whole thing, when you have a positive Pluto, it means that you will have that space. You will have that beautiful space. It will come after a lot of efforts. Okay. And if you're a person who's into real estate, if you're a person whose career is into finance, banking, insurance, or into real estate financing or something like that, you'll do well. Okay. Because positive grey lizard can mean a lot of positives. I mean, you will have a lot of struggle initially, but then you will do well as the time goes by. So that is it about the Libra ascendant people. How is it going to be from 2025 to 30? For the Scorpio ascendants, Uranus is the 4th lord that is going to get debilitated in the 7th house, and Pluto is the ascendant lord which is going to be going into the grey lizard avatar in the 3rd house. So what is going to be the impact? Uranus is going to be the 4th lord in the 7th. 4th house means family, home, people, and 7th house means marriage, marital life, relationships. So we are looking at major challenges coming in the area of the family. So some of the people can have some sort of an issue at at home, so which can mean the parent can go through some sort of a trouble, one of the parent, or it can be a sibling going through some sort of a challenge and you have to be there for them. 7th house can also mean marriage. Okay, marital life can go through some sort of a trouble, and if you've already been through some issues, then this can blow up into something bigger. Sometimes it's like one of your spouse is having some issue with your parent. Okay, 7th house is spouse, 4th house is parent. Or it can be vice versa, or they're living together can be a problem. So it's largely relationship based issues, which can be a trouble when you have the planet Uranus, the 4th lord, going into 7th. 4th house can also mean real estate, land, property, so some issues connected with that can be there. 7th house can mean, if at all you're going to do anything which is very public domain oriented, so in the public space there can be some sort of an issue, so you have to be careful about that. 3rd house means the mind. 3rd house, ascendant means the body, 3rd house means the mind. So, when you have a 3rd house transit of a Pluto, grey lizard Pluto, and let's say that you have a Pluto in a weaker position, it's in a debilitated Pluto that you have. Debilitated means what? If you see a chart, you will see that the Pluto is in red color, red font. Then you will go through a lot of mental unhappiness. There can be a lot of mental frustration, unhappiness, worries that is happening. See, probably the Uranus and Pluto can be linked, can be in sync here. So the problem is happening at home and relationship, and that is giving you a lot of mental trouble. Uranus is creating the trouble, and mental issues coming from the Pluto. So that could be the thing. So it's largely mental. It's all emotional, mental, psychologically you're worried, frustrated, unhappy. You need to be very careful about your mind. You mind your mind. So which means, some people can go through depression, some people can go through worry, some people can go through something mind related trouble. Some people can also go through central nervous system connected issues. So central nervous system connected issues can be many. So some people can go through that. Something connected with the brain, the wiring, even the cerebrum, even the spinal cord. See, even your movement. Sometimes people find it difficult to walk, especially if you're a little elderly. If you have a Scorpio ascendant, then you may have some issues in your movement, in your walking. Some people may have some issues connected with, you may speak something, you may talk something, you may write something which can backfire, which can give you a bad name or something like that. So these are all things that can happen if you're having a Pluto debilitated. Let's say your Pluto is exalted and it is in grey lizard avatar, or it is exalted generally. So then what can happen is probably you can go through a lot of mental trauma, challenges, worries, frustration, unhappiness. But finally, you may create something which is remarkable and unique, because 5th house is all about a creation. 5th house can also mean something artistic. So third house is something creative, and 5th house is artistic. So the combination can create something really magical. Okay, so maybe because of your thinking abilities or some creative abilities, you created a software or some solution or something. 5th house is also technology, so the third house is creative. So you use your creative powers to create a software which solved a lot of problems to the world. So maybe that happened after a lot of trouble and challenges and problems. So if you have a positive Pluto, then there is a lot of hope. Okay, which means that you'll have that struggle initially. Mental struggle will be there. You'll have to stress a lot, you'll have to worry a lot, analyze a lot, go through a lot of mental torture, but finally you may create something which is really, really fabulous. So that is something that you need to look forward to. So that is it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For Sagittarius ascendant people, the Uranus is going to be the third lord, going to be debilitated in the 6th house, and the Pluto is going to be the 12th lord coming into the 2nd house. Okay, so let's look at what's going to happen. So Uranus, if it's going to be debilitated, the impact is going to be much more, and if it is positive, then the impact will be still there, but it will be slightly to a lesser extent. And this is true to every ascendant. So talking about the Sagittarius ascendant people, it is a third lord which is debilitated in the 6th house. 3rd house means a mind, 6th house means health. Okay, so you need to be really, really careful about your mental health. Okay, mind and the health. See, sometimes it can also be the 6th house means the body. So the physicality of the body is going through some sort of a trouble, and that is the reason mentally you are not in a happy space. Or because the mind, because the 6th house can mean health and 3rd house can mean the mind, so it is a mental health. So mentally you are not in a very happy space. Mental health can mean what? Depression, worries, frustration, anger, aggression. So there could be various triggers in your life which can lead to these conditions. 3rd house can also mean the central nervous system. 3rd house can indicate travel sometimes. So these things can really result into some sort of a challenge or the other. Of course, you should also look at Uranus being posited in the 6th house, and 6th house means health in general. So you need to take care of your health. So besides mental health, you also need to take care of your physical health. So there can be some physical irritants which you need to take care of. And finally, talking about the Pluto. Pluto is your 12th lord in the 2nd house. Okay, now if you have a Pluto debilitated in the chart, which is weak in the chart, it is going to be really financially a very, very draining period. 12th house is losses, 2nd house is money, so you can keep losing money. And the money loss can be so high that some people can even go bankrupt. Okay, or if at all you're going to get into any kind of a business venture, 2nd house means money. If you want to put your money and get into any kind of a business venture, be careful, because you may lose money. All your efforts can just go down the drain and you may lose money. And if Pluto is going to be, and also it can happen that 12th house means foreign country, 2nd house is money. So there is some money connection to a foreign country which can result into losses. Okay, so these are all the various things that can happen if you have something to do with the negative Pluto. But if you have a positive Pluto, then I mean, in the sense Pluto is, let's say, in exaltation, or if it is going to be in grey lizard avatar, what can happen is you may have to go through a lot of learnings in the area of money. Okay, or there is a lot of things that you can do in the area of money, and finally it will give you some positive result. All people who are into anything to do with finance, banking, insurance, money management, chartered accountancy, all of those careers, which is literally connected to grey lizard Pluto, will actually do well during this time. Okay, there will be a lot of challenges initially. There can be some things happening around the world which can trouble you a bit in terms of money, but then you can really have some good money coming in. And also, if you have any kind of a connection to foreign countries, okay, your money can come up. Your money can come from foreign shores. You can be called to foreign country, and from there, you can do certain activities in a foreign land, and you can make money from there. So yeah, it's all connected to money. Finance and money is what is the major thing connected to the Pluto, and it can if it is positive, it can give you something really positive and interesting after a lot of struggle and a lot of learnings that you'll go through. See, for the Capricorn ascendants, the Uranus is the second lord and Pluto is the 11th lord. Okay, and if you have Uranus and Pluto, both of them are weak in the chart, you have to be extremely careful if you're going to be doing any kind of a business activity. It's very simple as that. For no other person in the ascendants, it is as critical as for you. Especially if you have Uranus and Pluto debilitated, you have to be very careful with your money. Because second house is money, and that is going to be weak in the 5th house. Second house is money and 5th house is recognition, success. Okay, so you may lose money, you may not be successful. 11th house means business results, and that planet is going to be debilitated in the 1st house. Not debilitated, but it's going to be in grey lizard avatar in the 1st house. And if you have a debilitated Pluto in your chart, okay, if your Pluto is in red font, then you will lose money. You will not be successful. So either which ways, money is going to become a huge trouble area in your life, especially if you have Pluto and Uranus in debilitated zodiac signs. Okay. So let's say that you have, okay, let's talk more about Uranus. Uranus is there in the 5th house. 5th house means love, romance, recognition. So probably you can have some issues in the love and romance area. Probably, some people may end up spending a lot of money, okay, for seeking that love. I mean, I don't know what does it mean. Okay, so it can mean something like that. So otherwise, your 5th house also means speculative stuff, and your 2nd house means money. Be extremely careful if you're going to be putting in your money into anything which is speculative. Okay, you can end up putting a lot of money into speculative ventures, and you may just lose money. Especially if your Pluto is also in grey lizard, then we're looking at, Pluto is in grey lizard, but let's say it is debilitated, then you can end up losing a lot of money. So speculation, losing money. So it's all boiling down to money finally. And if you have a positive Pluto, let's say that you're born with a Pluto in grey lizard or Pluto is in an exaltation, then what can happen is you may go through some sort of a challenge in terms of your the effort versus returns. So the returns may take a little bit of time, or maybe the Uranus is making you spend a lot of money, and then finally the result comes. Okay, but the result has come after a lot of hardships, a lot of fights, a lot of trouble, a lot of issues, but then finally it comes. Okay, presuming that your Pluto is positive in the chart. Okay, but if both the planets are weak in the chart, or at least Pluto is weak in the chart, then you have to be very careful. You may lose money. Uranus will anyways make you lose money, and Pluto will also ensure that you are losing money. So money is the biggest theme for Capricorn ascendants in the next 5 years. Be very careful how you are spending the money. For the Aquarius ascendant people, the ascendant lord Uranus is going to be debilitated in the 4th house. So ascendant means body, personality, 4th house means home. So it can impact either of the two or sometimes both. So how does it impact you? So if it is going to be ascendant, okay, which means the body, so you have to be careful about your health, and there can be some irritants connected with your health, which can give you some sort of a trouble or an issue or a problem, and then you may go through those recouping moments, so that can happen because of the Uranus being weak, ascendant lord being weak. And then we are looking at Uranus is debilitated in the 4th house. Okay, now 4th house is family, 4th house is home, real estate, property, vehicles. So be very careful in terms of your family. So there can be certain things happening in your family which can bother you a bit, you can make you worried. If there is something connected with children, which can bother you a bit, okay, or you are sort of something to do with your land or a property, it may not come in your hands, and you may lose a property. You can lose, especially be very careful if you're going to invest your money into any kind of a property. Okay, you may be conned, or you may get into some sort of a trouble, so be careful about that. So that's about the Uranus. Pluto is going to be your 10th lord in 12th house. Okay, 10th house is career, 12th house is losses. Okay, so if you have a Pluto which is debilitated, okay, if you have a weak Pluto, Pluto is debilitated means what? It is in red font. Then you may go through a lot of challenges connected to your career. So your 10th lord is going to be in debilitation in the 12th house. 12th house is losses. So you can have a lot of challenges in terms of your career. And for people who are in a foreign country, okay, and if you have a Pluto, the 10th lord is in debilitation in the 12th house, then you may go through extreme troubles in a foreign country, And you may even wonder as to why am I staying in a foreign country? Should I come back to my own country of birth? That kind of a feeling can happen when you have a 10th Lord debilitated in 12th. Okay, and 10th house is career, so some people can even lose their jobs. You can lose your work. Some people will lose their livelihood. So those kind of things can happen. So during this entire 5-year period, and if the Pluto is going to be in a grey lizard avatar, or if your Pluto is going to be in a exalted position, then what can happen is it's a grey lizard transit. So what can happen is your 10th Lord is transiting the 12th house, but in a grey lizard avatar. So 12th house can mean foreign countries. So if you're in a foreign country, or if you're aspiring to go to a foreign country, probably there can be a lot of positive things that can happen to you, but after a lot of struggle. And if you're already in a foreign country, then your PR or your visa or whatever is required to stay in a foreign country. Let's say you want the citizenship or something, that can happen, but then again after a lot of struggle. So there is a possibility of a lot of good things happening to you in terms of foreign country and in terms of your career, but it will come after a lot of struggle. Okay, so 12th house can also mean spirituality. So some of you, while the grey lizard is transiting the 12th house, can actually go through some sort of a spiritual evolution of sorts. Something interesting can happen in terms of spirituality, and you will go in that path. Even that is also possible. In fact, even a debilitated Pluto in the 12th house can also lead to that. But in that case, a person can really go through a lot of, the person is broken down. Okay, the person is broke, not in terms of money, but in terms of the mind and everything, and then finally goes into spirituality. So that's a different way of getting into spirituality, but there is a positive way of also getting into spirituality which can happen if you are a grey lizard positive person. Okay, it's a very interesting transits for the Aquarius ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, it's going to be the Uranus, the 12th Lord, which is going to be debilitated in the 3rd house. 12th house is subconscious mind, and 3rd house is the mind. Okay, 3rd house indicates the hands, 12th house indicates the legs. So these are the major areas that we're looking at as the challenge areas. So what does it mean? See, there can be a lot of things that is happening in your life, so which can happen because of the Pluto. Pluto is your 9th Lord, which is debilitated in the 11th house. Okay, I mean, assuming that your Pluto is weak. So if you have so 9th house means luck, 11th house means results. So results not coming your way, you're putting in a lot of hard work. See, normally what happens is one planet is doing a job, but then it can also come because of the other planet doing its job. So basically, for a Pisces ascendant person, that the mind is impacted. The 12th house is subconscious mind, and the 3rd house is the mind. So your mind is completely, okay, what is the better word for F word? Okay, I don't know. Anyways, whenever you have a 12th 3rd connection, the mind is really goes bonkers. So you go through a lot of mental unhappiness, frustration. It really shakes you up. Okay, some people will go through some sort of a depression, worries, and all that. For some people, it can impact your limbs. Okay, the hands or the legs. Some people will go through some sort of eyesight connected issues, or movement connected issues, moving from one place to the other. So those are the various troubles that can happen when you have a 3rd, 12th kind of a connection and a major planet which is debilitated. And talking about Pluto, Pluto is going to be in the grey lizard avatar in your 11th house, 9th Lord. So if you have a debilitated Pluto, if you have a Pluto which is having a red colored font, then you'll be very, very careful in terms of your money. You may lose money, okay, especially if it is connected to foreign country. So you gave money to somebody, the money didn't come back, or some sort of a business connection to foreign country is going wrong. You're losing money. So losing money is the most important theme, and be very, very careful because you may lose money. Okay, and if you are somebody who has a grey lizard Pluto, or if you're born with a positive Pluto, then there could be a lot of challenges initially from the law or from travel or from some sort of an international assignment. Okay, but then finally, by the end of it all, you will see some fruits. Okay, so which will come up in your life later on. I mean, within this 5 years, after a lot of struggle, it comes to you. So yes, you will finally get that fruit. Okay, but then you have to walk that path of hard work. Okay, so for Pisces ascendant people with the Pluto in a strong position, maybe the Uranus will create a lot of mental headache, frustration, unhappiness. The Pluto will initially create a lot of trouble, but then finally the end result will be good because the 11th house you have a Pluto strong, so which means you will finally get that result that you want. Whatever I said so far is only looking at the Uranus and Pluto positions. Okay, you'll also have other planets. You'll have the 4 asteroids. So some of you may have all the 4 asteroids exalted. So the next 4-5 years are the years when all the 4 asteroids are going to be exalted. So which means you will go through some good times because of those 4 asteroids. So don't forget that. Okay, so you may have an exalted Neptune. So the Neptune is in a strong position, so it can do something positive for you. So there are so many other planets which are also in fray. Okay, which will help you or which will give you trouble. So please understand that whatever I explained is ignoring the positive aspects, only looking at these 2 planets. These 2 planets will play their role. Okay, they will have something to do. Okay, but then of course your other positive planets can also give you a lot of positive results. Of course, that also depends on your independent charts. You can meet a competent astrologer and try and understand how things work for you. Understand that all of these tough times comes to us because of a past life karmas. Okay, so we need to face these past life karmas. Okay, be brave, fight against these these events which are going to unfold in our lives. One is be mentally prepared for them. I mean, you should be aware that okay, fine, so this planet is going to be there in the 5th house, so there is something to do with the child or children connected thing can happen. So be prepared, watch out for all those red signals, which you can see already that, oh yeah, so this is one possibility. See, if you know what the problem is, then it becomes easy to handle them, right? So that is the reason I'm giving you all of these things. So my wish to you, my good luck to you. Okay, my best wishes to you for you to fight against all of these and lead a good life. Okay, that is what life is all about, isn't it? Life is a journey of a lot of obstacles, struggles and lessons to be learned. So when you face those obstacles, you learn those lessons and then you move on in life. That's what exactly life is all about, isn't it? So if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do consider subscribing, because whenever I upload certain videos about happenings around the world, some predictions or something about your life, then you'll be one of those first few people to be notified. Thank you. See you again.